Good morning. This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit. I woke up this morning and, I opened up my computer and I took a look at some shorts. And this is the second short that I looked at because I'm always looking for truth bombs. And all of this has to do with spiritual, biblical context. The reason why people can't see the truth is because the truth is right in front of you. They're putting it right in front of you in Hollywood, which, by the way, if I must say, Hollywood is 666. Images of the Hollywood sign. Now, why would I say that Hollywood is 666, the picture of Hollywood, the sign? Okay, I've been telling people for a long time now, letters are just sounds to us, okay? But when you string the letters together, they create words. They create a spelling, okay? Wordcraft. We are under a spelling. This is why they taught us cursive writing. Because when we speak this language, the etymology of English and where it comes from, it's simply a breakdown of all languages. Hebrew, Greek, Latin to English. And the reason why Hollywood is 666, as I was saying, is before letters, everything was set up on a binary code. When you start understanding that the world that we live in, this is a simulation that we live in, okay? And our ancestors, long before us, this information, this technology that you're looking at right here, long before us figured all this out. So everything were words, or everything were numbers. And then what they did is they brainstorm and they assign sounds. That's what letters are. They're sounds to us. And when you string the sounds together, they form words. Words are spellings, which create casts. That's why when you're watching television, they are programming you. When you are sitting there on your chair or your couch, they are casting over you. They are channeling their world through a 666 program. This is a program, folks. Okay? You got to understand that. So, O is the 15th letter of the alphabet, and 1 plus 5 is 6, because they break these people, okay? They break everything down to a single digit, okay? Everything that exists in our language is broken down to a digit, and it is of a 666 system. So O is the 15th letter of the alphabet, 1 plus 5 is 6, and then 3 O's in the word Hollywood is 666. Now this goes deep into a lot of the fabric of what I'm going to be showing you today. So let's take a listen real quick to the first part of this. If anybody wants to go and watch it, Little Disasters premieres December 11th. So, it's going to be out here next month on Paramount. Okay. Now, like I said, this is all biblical, folks. You have to be wiser than the serpent. And the serpent isn't a snake. The serpent is a man. Please, folks, wake up. Okay. A snake didn't sliver in. Definition of serpent. A snake didn't slime into the garden. All right. It was let's see. I don't even see you in here, man. Would they take it out for me? Snake-like reptile. That's amazing. It ain't in there. Usually there's a meaning in here that says it's used in a derogatory. There it is right there. Derogatory, a sly or treacherous person. That's what came into the garden. A sly, treacherous person walked into the garden. Something that considers itself God, something that was thrown down, something that became into the material world. Everything that we view in the material world is all from images of the pineal gland. Now, why do you think that they show this picture of light, illuminated light inside of the brain? Because we are this here is what creates our illusion.
Perfection is an illusion.
Perfection is an illusion. We're gonna break this down real quick. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, Bible Hub. Once you start understanding the intent behind the word God, gods, other gods, Lord God, Buddha, Hinduism, all of the other gods, the 33 million different names for a God, Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Iesos, Iesun, Jesus, Joseph, Josephet, all the names used for whatever. I don't know. The question to ask yourself, folks, is if 8 families or 4 families got onto the ark, all right, and those 4 families still worshiped 4 different gods, each family, each couple worshiped their own God, then that would mean that there would be only 4 names for 4 different gods on the plane of this existence. So there's a God that says that it will make you a special people unto him. Okay? And personally myself, I don't even like using the him anymore. Because this God here, this God Elohim, 430, Elohim, plural of Eloah, gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used of the supreme God. What's that? Look at it. Read it yourself. What's that say? It says specifically used of the supreme God. This God here is the God, it's man. Okay, that's what you got to understand. Now you're saying, now how can man be God and be spirit and all that? Well, man is flesh. Human is spirit. There's a difference. I'm looking for something. I'm looking for my little pointer. I guess a pen will do. Supreme God. But here's the kicker. Created man. Okay, man is mankind. Adam, as in ruddy. 120, ruddy, as in red. Red, ruddy. This could be, I'm not saying it is. I don't believe anything anymore. I either know or I don't know, so I can't say for certain. But I would say that this creation here would more than likely represent a race of people. The Gentile race, okay? And mankind here, okay? Let me hit my point here real quick, though. The lady said an illusion. Everything is an illusion. So when this God creates a man in his own image, he creates him. Him is self. Him is self. It's an entity. An entity is a body. The body is the United Nations. This is your body right here. Images of the United Nations Council. This is your entity right here. This is your body. Right? These are all beasts. These are demons. They're devils. Okay? They wear flesh suits. They're evil. Okay? They create agendas. They create the war. They created the language. They created it all. These are entities. These are, remember folks what it says? That 200 angels fell. I wonder if you counted all those seats in this council here, all the way around this round table, these in this back right here, and these little chairs right here, if you counted them all, I wonder how many chairs would be there. 200, possibly. It looks like that there could be close to 200 there, if I do say so myself. And the shot collars are back here. This is where your shot collars are. You see, these are the up front people. These are the faces. Okay, they're controlled by an entity. Literally, folks, they're controlled by an entity. So it does look like there's only about 200 seats inside this council, if I do say so, to be honest. So this is your council. This is the beast of the field right here, each according to their kind. Okay, also, images of troops marching in ranks. These. It's really simple, folks. What am I getting at? Here, 25. When we back this up one, God made the beast of the earth according to their kinds. Germans, Americans, Italians, Greek, Latins, anything that wasn't a Hebrew, anything that wasn't a chosen man. Now, the Bible plainly tells us that this war that's taking place has been made up of a race war between black and white. And that's what this God wants us to believe. These gods, Elohims are plural. Elohim are fallen angels, folks. Okay? They're not the supreme spirit. They're something that are being used from something more powerful, greater than. You see, when God creates the beast of the field, this was probably something, the man that had been tossed down, that likes to see limbs blown off of people's bodies. Okay? They like to see, these entities like to see people get blown up. They like to see people die and bleed out. You got to understand that there is an energy force, and it feeds off of that. It feeds off of your fear. It feeds off of your hate. It feeds off of you. It is a vampire. Give me 1 second here.
The world is a vampire.
Why do you think he says that? Because that's what this world is. It's this place, the earth. It's a vampire. It eats people. It swallows people. And it traps the soul. Look, let me show you something. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, Bible Hub. The earth was formless and void. It was empty. There was nothing on it. And darkness was over the surface of the deep. Darkness in this parable, folks, is misery. It's destruction, it's death, it's ignorance, it's sorrow, and it's wickedness, because something was thrown down. This God here, God created the heavens and earth. God, in the beginning is time. Time is the God Chronos. They say chronology. In the beginning, time, 60 seconds, 60 minutes, 24 hours, 2 plus 4 is 6. Time is 666. So right from the beginning of the Bible, man, it's coming in at you. 666. Bam. Not only that, it's within the first 3 words. In the beginning. 3 words. In the beginning. 666. 3, 666. 18 is also a representation of 666 when you start breaking all this down into deep gematria. And when I've been studying gematria now for almost 6 years, so nobody on the face of the earth can tell me that I haven't figured this out, because I know I have, because when I talk to people about this information, they look at me like I am the devil. Well, the thing is we are the devils. It's us, the entity. It's a body, folks. In the beginning, God created the heaven and earth. Now the earth was formless and void, and darkness, evil, misery, pain, grief, torment was over the surface of the deep, because there was a war in heaven and something was thrown down. And it's this God that's saying, see, this is a deity God written in the Bible, claiming to be a God, but it's nothing but a man. That's what you got to understand. This book has been hijacked. It's been stolen from its original script. It's been copies upon copies upon copies upon copies. And people can't seem to fathom that thought, man, that, you know what? Things have been added and things have been taken out. And a Christian will argue with you straight up that this book is infallible. It's a perfect manuscript. There's nothing wrong with it. And that's a line of crap within itself. Now, I don't want to lose you guys. I want to keep this stuff entertaining, because honestly, when you start learning about the scriptures, this stuff is entertaining. So she just now said to you that everything's an illusion.
Filtered and tweaked.
Filtered and tweaked. Everything's an illusion, filtered and tweaked. If we live in a simulation, a West world, let's see if we can find a West World trailer. West World trailer with Yul Brynner. So this is Westworld. I used to terrify my daughter when we watched this movie. So this is about being inside of a city, which is contained, and the city is robots. There's literally clones that are among us, that are walking around. They're entities, they're energy forces that possess a flesh suit. Cloning is very real, folks. So,
resort.
We have you on grid 5, over.
It consists of 3 worlds of the past.
3 worlds of the past it consists of. So they have the Roman, they have the Western, and they have the European. Oh, European. Could you imagine that? The Europeans. Of course it's going to have the European. The mid-age.
Locking in now.
Worlds where you can live out your every fantasy. There's Roman.
Worlds, that's plural. You see, so the truth is being placed right in front of you. They're telling you in Hollywood. It's straight up in Hollywood, folks. It's time for you to remove the scales from your eyes. So Westworld is a bunch of robots, and you get to live out your fantasies. You can fornicate. You can, they're real live robots. They feel real. They look real. They talk real. But you got to keep one thing in mind. They're scripted. And this is something that is so important to understand, is like my dad. All his life, now I see with the scales off my eyes, he's scripted. He says the same thing over and over, just like that movie in Jumango where The Rock and that girl are all in the airplane and they're talking to the pilot, and the girl says to The Rock, well, it's a I don't know, they call it some kind of robot, NPC, a non-playing character, and they're scripted. They can only say certain things. So this is why it's so important for us to find what we've lost, which is our memory of where we came from. And that's what this world wants to do. It wants to keep you contained with entertainment, acting, music, Hollywood, politics, the military, all of these outside forces, work, the bars, the drinking, the partying. See, if you are drinking, you go to work, you bust your hump, you work for your 8 hours a day, you're a construction worker like I was. You're tired, you're exhausted, you're beat up. That's also something that this entity likes to do. It likes to break down the body. It likes to make you sick. This is why they want you to take their vaccinations. English gematria. I know I spelt it wrong, but the IN will work. It's still the same. Look, in English gematria, folks, vaccination is 666. Okay? The very first thing I showed you in the Bible, in the beginning, is 666. So.
And then something happens and the illusion starts to crumble.
Oh, the illusion starts to crumble. Hold on. Isn't that what's kind of like happening to America today? Isn't it? Don't you feel something's changing, something's different, like America is crumbling? Listen, folks, I want to tell you a sad truth. That's something very difficult for us as seeds of Satan to understand that they keep us in play by a system of politics. And the way this works, and you can bet on it, the reason why they want you to vote for them is because when you vote, the illusion that mankind has our best interest at heart. Yes, you can tell that mankind has our best interests at heart by shoving vaccinations and forcing them on us to keep our jobs, to keep us working, to keep us in school, to keep us this, to keep us that. And then I show you that vaccination is 666 and that, let's see if I can find it. So this is when things started to come together for me, and I really started to realize that the government isn't for us, folks. Okay, when you start attaching these scriptures to what's being said, and you look at the word pharmakia, which is sorcery, it's witchcraft. Pharmakia comes from Greek, okay, and it is a poisoning. Pharmacy is a poisoning. And folks, now when I read that, and I see how many prescriptions that my dad is on, he's like 12 freaking pills. Every time I go take my dad to the doctor, all the doctor wants to do is prescribe him another pill. I'm like, Christ, man, he doesn't have to eat any food. You got so many fucking pills he's taking each day. So I literally had to start monitoring what my dad was taking and everything. Once I read this, I had to take over myself. And guess what I did, guys? I cut my dad off the drugs. I started feeding him good foods. I started feeding him healthy foods. I started cooking meals for him. I started getting him off the canned food and the TV dinners and the garbage that they shove down our throats. So by an extension, the occult, everybody's so afraid of this word, occult. Okay, all occult means is hidden, folks. If you didn't know that, definition of occult. No, not cult, occult. Believing practices, especially in religion. See, occult isn't that. Definition of occult: supernatural, mystical, and magical beliefs practiced or phenomena. Involving or relating to supernatural, mystical, or magical powers or phenomena. Why would they do that twice? I don't know. Discernible signs of symptoms cut off from view by interposing something. Cut off by view is probably more what I'm looking for. It's a hidden. Cult competitor, conceal. There you go. Of a celestial body. Isn't that beautiful? Astronomy, conceal, to conceal an apparently smaller body. See, the masses, to conceal what we are from view by passing or being in front of it. Meaning put the truth right in front of your face, and you, to Latin is to hide. Celere, conceal, oculare, and ocultare, secret. So occult means secret. That's why Jesus spoke in parables, and he called the parables pearls, because you have the word pearls in parables. You don't get that from no Christian minister, do you? You ain't going to get any of this. None of it.
Here's to another 10 years of friendship. You are living in a bubble of privilege.
What? You're living in a bubble of privilege? Holy shit. A bubble of privilege. Let's see is it Ecclesiastes or is it, let me think here for a second. It's Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 31 verse 3, Bible Hub. What was that she said? I can't.
Perfection.
Here's to another 10 years of friendship. You are living in a bubble of privilege.
You're living in a bubble of privilege. We're going to pop over here to the King James. Okay? Because parts of this I didn't understand over here. This is the context Bible that we're reading from over here. And these are all the scriptures. I read from all of these, folks. And the reason why I do that is there's so many times that a parable I don't understand I don't understand all of them, okay? But I understand a great deal of what's being said in the parables today. And I'm sure that there's Christian ministers out there that have probably more knowledge than I even do of this Bible, or have more understanding of the occult hidden language behind what's being taught here. But the thing is they're teaching you the lie. They're prosperity preachers. Anybody who takes money to teach you the truth is a devil. I've had my channel for 7 years now, and I've never asked anybody for one dime. I feel it's imperative to get this free information out to you, and that's why I do it for free. So King James Bible says, behold the Assyrian, and that woman just said white bubble. Okay, the Assyrian is Satan, folks. Okay, it's an ass. It's an Aryan. You start looking at the words inside of words, and I'm telling you over and over and over that the language we speak is a casting. We are calling out for gods in the language that we speak. I'm telling you, it'd be better for this world just to everybody keep their mouths closed and just nod and smile to one another in peace and harmony and happiness, and not to say anything. And you take away that speech, you drive whatever entity it is that's controlling this place completely bonkers. It would go mad. It'd be screaming, somebody say something, speak, man. I can't get you guys to fight if you're not talking. We fell away from something that was far greater than what any of us understand. So the Assyrian is a cedar. Satan, the Aryan, a man, a dirty man, a crooked man, something that was created crooked, is the cedar. What is a cedar? A cedar is a tree. Satan, the Assyrian, a man, was the cedar in Lebanon, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The Assyrian was a cedar, a tree of knowledge of good and evil in Lebanon. Middle East with fair branches. Now you could ask 100 people what that parable means, fair branches, and not a one of them could tell you, have a clue what it's really saying. But I do. I know exactly what it's saying. Definition of fair. Give me a second, guys. You're right here with me. You're doing this live. Not live, but the fairest of her daughters, dialect, played fair, pursuing in fair solitude, plural fair, delight to see you, a fair offering, persons fair, fair, present fair. Okay, let me see. Give me a second. Well, I had to go to dictionary.com to find what I was looking for. Pale. It's blonde. Fair skin. Have you ever met a black person with blonde hair? Well, I mean, I have seen a few, but I don't know if they dyed their hair that way or not. They also have blue eyes. And kind of it's kind of weird, a black man with blue eyes and blonde hair. Nappy hair. But it's a light hue, not dark, fair skin. That, my friends, is knowledge. That, my friends, is intellect. That, what you've just heard, is wisdom. So, the Assyrian is a white man, a cedar, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, with white skin and with a shadowing shroud. What is that? What's the shadowing shroud? They're laughing at you. They're mocking you in Hollywood with all your movies on mummies. Okay? They'll tell you that a shroud is something that you're wrapped up in, as like in gauze, bandage or something. If you're a burn victim, that's a shroud. You're wrapped up in a shroud. The Shroud of Turin. How about that one? Images of the Shroud of Turin. Now, see, I don't even believe any of this garbage. I think that this is just magic. Like I say, all this stuff is magic, folks. That is what they say from the cloth, from his oils in permeating or pigmenting the color of the shroud itself of the cloth, and that they're able to make that image. Okay? I don't believe any of that. Personally, myself, I think that this is garbage, because I'm telling you straight out that, let's see, where are we at? That man with beautiful branches, fair branches, this is why you have to read different meanings. Because I never would have figured it out. I wouldn't have known what beautiful branches meant. But the beautiful branches, you can clearly see, are the fair branches. And this is why it's important to read multiple versions. All of these. If I don't understand what the scripture says, I'll read through every one of these until finally one really fits in. You're looking at a puzzle, folks. This is a puzzle. This book is a puzzle. It's a riddle, and it has to be put back together again. That's what it means to study yourself approved. Source, the Spirit, the Most High, allowed man to trample and destroy this gift. Certainly did. Job 9:24. Job chapter 9, verse 24, Bible Hub. The earth's given into the hands of the wicked. So, whatever was in heaven that was cast down here and it was of darkness confirms what I've shared with you. I closed that up because once I start getting so many windows and stuff open, my computer starts lagging. Okay, real quick, right here again, the hands of the wicked, darkness, Chosek. So when you see the word darkness in the Bible, it's not talking about nighttime, folks. It's talking about something obscure, night, obscurity, darkness, night, obscurity. Well, it does say night right there. But I would go more with wickedness right there. This is how you tie the parables together, precept upon precept, line upon line. You start connecting these parables and stuff, man. You use them as a tool. You want to find something out about the wicked, you start studying the word wicked. You go through the Bible about wicked. You want to learn about an image, you start studying the word image. You start figuring out what it means, okay? Anything created in an image is nothing more than a refraction of light, because we're angels, and angels are simply angles of light. So wicked, the world has been turned over to the hands of the wicked. Well, why would that be? Because darkness was over the face of the deep. Because there was a war that took place in heaven. The war that took place in heaven. Now, there's a lot of people that believe in the Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki come from your Anunnaki, an Anunnaki. But check this out. So the world is a vampire sent to drain. Drain what? Our souls. That's what this world is powered off of. It's powered off of our souls because we are magnetic beings. There is a polarity. You have electricity. This world, as we view it, images of a holographic city. Okay. That's pretty much a lot of, in reality, what we are, just pieces of the vibration of atoms so close to one another and moving at such a high frequency. So look, this world that we live in, folks, is made up from sound cybernetics. So our energy, our soul, our power, our essence is what feeds this system. It's what powers this system by keeping us trapped. If everybody on the face of this earth committed suicide at the same time, then the God of this world would no longer exist, and we'd all be back in the spiritual realm. The material world wouldn't exist any longer. It would go away. And that's what these people are doing. They're hiding the truth of the reality that we live in, because we are ourselves images. So we're created in an image of God. But the problem with that is you have a God that creates himself in an image, and then Exodus chapter 20, verse 4, Bible Hub, you shall not make for yourself a carved image. Images of Jesus on a cross. folks, I can't believe that how sick and disgusting and horrifying that this religion is, that Christians will tell you that this God is an all-loving, pure, loving, light God who sends a creation down that's a perfect creation to get the shit beat out of it by evil parasites on the face of the earth so that we can be saved. You talk about ignorance. How stupid can anybody be? Oh, he shed his blood on the cross. Frickin' ignorance. Ignorance, people. You are so damn ignorant to believe in any of this garbage. Okay? I can prove to you all day long that Jesus is 666. Jesus disappeared at age 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. Arrived on age 30. 3 plus 3. 3 plus 0 is 3. 12. 1 plus 2. 33. 6 plus 3 plus 3 is 6. He's gone for 18 years. You divide 3 into 18, that could be 666. Jesus says that he's the beginning. I'm the beginning. I'm the end. What is that? The beginning is the book. Religion. The beginning of the Bible. He's the beginning. He's the end. He's the first frickin' parable in the Bible. He's the last frickin' parable in the Bible. And check this out here. John chapter 1 verse 1 Bible Hub. I love it when a Christian says this parable to me. Christians, they repeat the same garbage over and over. They're NPCs. They're limited to what they can tell you inside of the Bible, but they definitely have 3:6, John 3:6. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him shall not die but have eternal life, shall not perish but live forever. All of it, okay? They like that one, and then they like this one here. In the beginning was the Word. Well, I showed you already, beginning is 666. Beginning is time. Time is 60 seconds, 60 minutes, 24 hours. 2 plus 4 is 6. That's 666. Right there in front of your face. I just proved it to you, and Jesus is the Word. Jesus is the Word. Let me see. I did. I closed that one down too, huh? Okay. Gematria calculator. Gematria calculator. Do you think gematria sounds anything like gematria? What was it? I can't even think of it. Oh, geometry. Geometry. I don't know why I couldn't see that word. But does geometry sound like gematria? I don't think either one of them sound anything alike, to be honest with you. Gematria calculator. Remember, word. Simple gematria, the word is 60, and I told you already that you got to break everything down to a single digit, because the way the language was written binary code, and then numbers, and then letters equated to numbers, and then this is how they were capable of creating the split tongue, the wordcraft inside of our language. The reason why the natives of this country said that the white man speaks with a forked tongue. Images of NASA's vector. You see, folks, you can't even see the truth right in front of you, man. That is a serpent's tongue. That's a forked tongue. Okay? Every space program that exists in the world has a vector. Every single one of them. They don't do it without a vector. China has a vector. India has a vector. Images of India's space program vector. All of them. every one of them. Chinese space program vector. Oh. Let's try it this way here. All program space flight vectors okay. Sorry, but I usually shut the thing off when I do this. Guess I probably should. Well, damn it, it's not what I'm looking for. But I don't want to spend too much time. Vector graphics. These are just pictures and stuff of, but these are not the emblems, vector emblems. Space program vector emblems. I'm telling you, every one that exists, they all have that tongue on it. It's not the exact same shape, but they have it in different ways. So basically what I'm trying to say to you is that this vector represents the serpent's tongue. It represents a snake tongue. Where did the Pilgrims land when they hit America? Providence Harbor at Cape Cod in November 1620. Okay. Here it is. Was established December 21st. Okay. 9. Inverted 9. This is 3. You add these together. This is a 9. 9 inverted could be 3 6s. At what is now Plymouth. Plymouth. It's Plymouth, folks. Okay? It's layers of shit that our ancestors... Okay, we're devils, man. That's all there is to it. And that's what the Bible's trying to tell us, is that there's devils in this plane of existence. I would say that there's probably 100 freaking devils for every one human maybe walking around, if that. Maybe 1,000 devils for every one human that's really walking around. Our numbers are very small on this plane of existence that seek a seraphim, an omnipotent force outside of ourselves that binds all things together through thoughts. So Plymouth Rock is where the Pilgrims landed, and that's just simply Plymouth, meaning they run their mouth. They're a bunch of garbage speakers is what they are. Okay, and let me close some of these out before we go any further. So, you shall not make for yourself a carved image. Jesus is a carved image on top of a cross. He's made out of wood. Imagine that. Why do you think they call white boys in prison woods? Because wood, a piece of wood cut from its source, dies. I keep telling you that we are dead. Mark 15:37 Bible Hub. We're going to come over here to King James again. And Jesus cried with a loud voice and gave up the ghost. Let's see here. Give me a second. So Jesus Christ let out a loud cry and gave up the ghost. Jesus Christ cried out loud and yielded up his spirit. Jesus Christ yielded the ghost. The ghost is a spirit of a dead person. So when Jesus hit that cross, he was already a dead person. Why? Because when you're born into this world, you're born into a world of sin, and the wages of sin are death, which means that the minute you're born into this plane of existence, you are the walking dead. It's you. All of us combined, a hive. We are the secret destroyers. I learned that I was a secret destroyer. I lied, I cheated, I did drugs, I drank, I partied, I fornicated, I did it all. I did abominable things. I robbed people's homes. I was a criminal. Fortunately, very, very fortunately for me, I left the criminal life behind at the age of 25, 27, when something went terribly wrong. And I'll be honest with you, when you see somebody's head get hit with a baseball bat, that's either going to, right there at that moment, it's going to tell you whether you want to be a lifetime criminal or not. Okay? I saw that, and it fucking terrified the shit out of me. And at that very moment, right in that split second, I knew once I got away from this guy and out of the home that all this was going on with, that I'd never see that mofo again. I'd never hang out with him again. I'd never contact him again. I'd ignore him. I wouldn't answer the phone for him. I wouldn't do anything for that man again. And this is why this plane of existence is a learning place. So a ghost, folks, is a demon. Jesus Christ died on the cross and he gave up the ghost. The ghost is a demon. Jesus is a demon. He's a devil. He's a phantom. Where are we at? Phantom, huh? Let's see. All I gotta do is come here. Is a phantom. So God created man in his own image. Here it is once more. A phantom. A ghost is a phantom. Jesus died on the cross and he gave up the ghost. The ghost is the spirit of the dead. The dead are demons. They're devils. They are trapped in this world. They can never leave. More than likely, they've merged with the machine a long, long time ago. And with that said, I would like to also go images of sound cybernetics. I'm telling you that the world that we live in is made up from frequencies and vibrations. All right? There you go. This is sound cybernetics, and this is what our world that we live on is made up of. It's made up these frequencies. Folks, this is incredible information that I share with you. When I took my download, so much information came over me that I'm mind blown from it myself, what I know today. And the thing is I have the ability to hear the truth today and see through the lie. I have the ability to know if somebody's speaking the truth or speaking a lie. Right there. That's so, see, so right there. That's pretty much what we live in, folks. We live in like this little center hole right here, man. And land has been, and everything that's created is created through thought, through vibrations, through frequencies. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the sound that makes up the earth we live on is so loud, it would blow our eardrums out if we could hear it. Kind of like a dog whistle. There's frequencies and vibrations that are happening the way that Source created everything that we can't hear, that make up this reality that we see through energy, frequencies, and vibrations. Anyways, I'm going to cut out of here. I hope you enjoyed the show. Listen, when I first came into this truth, I was pretty forceful. I alienated my family. I tried shoving this stuff down people's throats. And then I learned that it's not my place to try to get somebody to hear the truth. It's not my place. This is to the glory of the Most High, the Supreme Spirit. It's the source. It's the omnipotent seraphim, the one that you can't see behind the veil that moves all things in place. It's to Spirit's glory and nothing else. Okay? No man's glory. Man is not glory on this plane of existence. They are wicked, and they are the government. This is White Raptor News Ministries.